Look, what's happening in the world, it depends on your lens, on your perspective, on how you see your life. But from my perspective, it's always about unconditional love. We speak of unconditional love, but we do not comprehend. There's no one on earth as a human that isn't going through some sort of pain, but beyond the pain is suppression. Since day number one, since we were born as kids, we are told what to do, what to wear, how to speak. That window shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks into this. So what's happening on earth is a gift for all of humanity. Suppression of self is the cause for anything that we don't desire. Every thought, every visualization, every uttering of a word is energy you are sending out and awakening. When you begin to realize, in order for us to see the light in others, it starts with you. But when you begin to go inside of yourself and face all versions of you, love without conditions, then you begin to see the world and what's happening from that lens.
Before he ever spoke publicly about consciousness or non-human intelligence, Toni Ghazi was a child growing up in the Middle East, learning early on what it feels like to be silenced and told who you're allowed to be. Well, those formative years were marked by war, suppression, and survival, and it planted a deeper question within him. Who am I beneath all of this? Well, today, Toni Ghazi is a channel for the Praying-Mantis Collective, guiding people back to the heart beyond logic and beyond fear. In April, Toni will be a featured speaker at the new Living Expo in San Rafael, California. Mandy and I are excited to be there and encourage you to get tickets at newlivingexpo.com. In this conversation, you'll discover what it means to remember who you are, why you were never broken, and how consciousness itself may be communicating with you directly. I'm your host, David Trotter. Welcome to the Awaken Magazine podcast. Toni, welcome to the show. It's great to see you again.
Thank you, David. It's an absolute pleasure and an honor to be here and with your audience.
One of the things that I've been asking people recently is, what the heck is going on in our world? And so I know you do a lot of travel. You're in the center of so much activity there in New York, seeing out across the world. What do you sense is unfolding on our planet right now?
Yes, a small pivot to Washington, D.C., but New York is fine.
New York, I apologize. Oh, my goodness. For some reason, I had New York in my head, but that's right. You're in D.C.
I'm in the capital. I'm literally...
Which is more the epicenter. Yeah, my apologies.
No, don't apologize at all. It's amazing. Look, what's happening in the world, it depends on your lens, on your perspective, on how you see your life and the world, on how you decipher what's really happening. But from my perspective, from the praying mantises, the insectoid, beings that I am clearly connected with, it's always about unconditional love. We speak of unconditional love, but we do not comprehend. My beings say humanity, and they're not saying it with judgment, right? Like they're not saying, oh, you do not understand unconditional love. They're just trying to allow us to be aware what really love without conditions mean. That even when we witness things that are so traumatic, what's happening in Iran right now, what's happening in the US, what's happening with ICE, I don't know, with whatever it is that is on the top of, oh my God, what's happening. Unconditional love isn't to condone what's happening, isn't to say, okay, but how do we stretch our heart beyond the logic, beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, beyond the orchestration of the mind, the construct that we were told things look like this. How do you stretch beyond that and step fully into love and allow the lens of love to reveal to you what's really happening? I haven't had a chance to leave. I made a few videos on social media, about Iran, and I spoke just briefly about the idea of what's happening, right? And the message of the mantis beings was clear, because I cannot tell. Look, we're all in pain. Everyone is in pain. There's no one on earth as a human that isn't going through some sort of pain, but beyond the pain is suppression. Suppression of simply allowing yourself to be any form that your soul desires. Since day number one, since we were born as kids, we are told what to do, what to wear, how to speak, where to go, this. Suppression, suppression. Like we're born as this open canvas of anything is possible. Everything is actually possible, and that window shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks into this. So what's happening on Earth is a gift for all of humanity, and unfortunately, the Iranian people, and you know I'm Lebanese, right? So I'm Middle Eastern. I get it. I lived in Lebanon for 15 years. I lived through the Lebanese Civil War. I get it. But Iran is giving us an ice and all these humans on earth that are through the lens of fear, through the lens of being suppressed fully, are acting out to the best of their ability. Like there's so much energy that they have suppressed that energy has to come out in like some way, and they don't know how to work with it, how to maneuver this unbelievable God creatorship energy, but it's coming from from a distorted lens. So how do we step back and send love also to the oppressors? Send love also to the perpetrators. And I cannot tell you how many times I have said that message and I've received hate mail, comments, how dare you? And it's not about condoning what's happening. It's easy for us to love victims because we identify as like being victims at times. It's easy for us. We've also been conditioned to love the idea of like victimhood, but we have never been conditioned to see the idea of suppression. Because in my mind, in like the praying mantis like showed me this like image of a young child being born who is a day old, then a month old, then 2 weeks old, then a year old, then 3 years old, and now this little boy or little girl is like walking and like formulating its mind. It's 3, 4, 5 years old, and now it's dreaming of being whatever, a president, an astronaut, an artist, whatever. You tell me there's a boy on earth or a young girl that is dreaming to be an oppressor, Hitler, and no, that doesn't happen. But that begins to happen when humans, mom and dad, when school, when society, when education, when marketing, when the government suppresses, says no to this, no to that, no to this is the right way, that's the wrong way. Suppression of self is the cause for anything that we don't desire. So, for a moment, when you step back and understand just with pure psychology, why would a human even like wishes to be more powerful like than the next? That's because they do not feel powerful within themselves. So when you comprehend that, then you go into this whole display of like war, the idea of victimhood, the idea of like perpetration from a very different lens. And I oftentimes like talk about be mindful on how you project and see and think and dream and think, like every thought, every like visualization, every uttering of a word is energy you are sending out and awakening the other person. So when we continue seeing the oppressors as bad people, awful people, like they need to die, they need to be eradicated, whatever the judgment, the forms of judgment, that we also judge the people that have judged us already. When you begin to realize, wow, I'm even judging the person that already has judged a whole community, it's another story, you know? So how do you expand your heart to allow yourself to see? So this is a type of work that's very triggering for people that I help people go through.
It's so triggering, Tony. I have a friend who, during the first Trump administration, she was articulating on social media as a leader in a spiritual community when people are up in arms about what he's doing, this or that. And she was articulating basically, how do we see someone, including him, as a holistic being that is not evil in their totality? So now some people, obviously, that are listening think Trump is wonderful. Other people would see him as evil. She's speaking to those who would see him as evil and saying, he is not, from, like everything he does is not bad. There is a core aspect of who he is that is divine, that is beautiful, that is loving, that is right. That doesn't mean you condone a certain person's behavior, which is, I hear what you're saying about Iran or any of the other situations. But that is very challenging because we want to see people in a dualistic black and white perspective. They're either all, and once I put someone in that box, then I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to consider. And I also don't have to consider the ways in which I'm an oppressor myself, because I'm distancing myself from that person who's an oppressor. So, oh, you're talking about some challenging things there, Mr. Ghazi.
Thank you, David.
Jeez.
And look, this is what the mantises are all about. And when I say unconditional love, I always have to go a bit further because people construct an idea of unconditional love that's Disney. Like they said very clearly, humanity are like parrots. And they're not saying it from the eyes. They are not like judging us. They just bring it to our awareness when we speak of these beautiful, like light-filled aspects, but we're not embodying them. We're not being, and of course we're trying to be, but we don't know how. And all the pieces aren't coming together. Look, my husband doesn't like Trump. I don't care for politics, really. I'm not a politician, but he loves politics. He watches news day and night. I'm like, babe, you might as well, you might as well go run for office. He's a personal trainer, but he's so involved and informed, and he has the same view as your friend. And like when we talk about it at times, he gets triggered from my lens. But listen, to answer your question, in order for any of us, and this is for the whole audience, this is kind of them. I'm not channeling unconsciously, but I could feel them in here. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for a moment. In order for us to see the light in others, it starts with you. Meaning, because we are the lens of God. I am the eye. What's the all-seeing eye? It is not one eye. You are an all-seeing eye. The audience, every one of you that's watching this, each and every one of you are the all-seeing eye, a facet of vision that God looks through you. So the way that you feel and are conscious or unconscious of within you allows you to see what's happening out there from that lens. But when you begin to go inside of yourself in faith, all versions of you, not just the light, not the spectrum that we've been so conditioned, God is here. We've been so conditioned, enlightenment is here. Enlightenment is also within the darkness. God also lives within the darkness, but it's not the darkness that we comprehend it from our limited way, right? So when you begin to face yourself and go inside and witness the horrors of self, the judgment of self, everything about yourself, and the possibility of that, yes, like today, the hatred I had for this person is real. Oftentimes we even fight. We have a war, internal war, all these little tiny wars like within us where I want to be, I don't know if the word righteous is the right word, but I want to be, I'm I'm a spiritual leader, right? Oh, I just want to make sure I'm always giving messages of light and love and everything. But if like one day I'm feeling very hateful towards something or someone, that within myself, within the privacy of my own mind, I'm having wars even with that. So when you begin to face those, love without conditions, and begin to see yourself as a child of God, allowing yourself to experience all facets of creation, and all facets means all, not this spectrum, all of it, then you begin to see the world and what's happening from that lens. It took me to go deep within myself and see all of my horrors and all of my wishes and all of my things I don't desire to be able to see the light in others. Why? Because I was able to see the light within me. I'm going to be writing a book that's called the Antarean-Heart method. And that's my next level expansion of like my brand. That helps leaders, and I mean leaders, not just country leaders and like corporations, like a leader as a person. You are sovereign in your own life. Transform them from logic, mind, intellect to frequency of heart. Precisely what you asked your friend or your friend asked you about, how do I see what's happening out there, these perpetrators, Trump, ICE, I don't know, whatever's triggering you. How can you see this that you don't prefer from heart? It doesn't come with logic. Logic is construction, logic is limitation, logic is expectations. So how do you bridge that into the heart? Another. So that'll be coming up soon.
Yeah, when is the coach inside of me is asking when is it coming out?
I'm actually working with a brand expert as we speak. We should be done in like 2 months. We already began the process. We've been working every week for like 6 hours together. It began last month, so it's on its way, and before the end of the year, easily it will be done. Um, yeah,
Good, good,
it,
good.
yeah.
So I want to hear you give kind of, I mean, geez, we've been talking for 10 minutes or so on the state of the world, which has been so helpful. But for those people who are newer to you and who you are and what you do, I want to encourage them, and I'll put a link back to our previous podcast where you talk about in depth your story of awakening to consciousness, mindfulness, spirituality during COVID. It's a very powerful story. And of course, your upbringing in Lebanon. But what do you do? Like, if somebody meets you, not on a subway in New York, because you're not in New York, if they meet you, if they meet you at a coffee shop in DC, what do you do? Who are you? How are you serving the world? Give people an overview.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, just for your audience to know, I always wear this everywhere I go. And just to show not necessarily how real I am, but how like you I am, because oftentimes people like place you in their mind on some pedestal, right? That, oh, he's ascended or he's gone through wow, he has these gifts. I'm like each and every one of you. I have this like side of me that's able to channel, like speak to spirits and like connect and remember. But when I go back to my everyday life, I go through the same struggles as you do. So I'm as real as you. Let's start there. So I sell real estate, and I've been selling real estate, God, for 16, 17 years. That's my everyday thing. Now I have two businesses. I have real estate and I have this channeling. And I always represent myself with all these markings on on my face while I'm selling real estate, while I'm teaching real estate, while I'm like doing channeling. So this is a constant reminder for others. It's a constant invitation for others to have a dialogue with me. And oftentimes,
What is that dialogue like? You meet a client for the first time. What do they say, and what do you say back?
yes, let me draw the image quickly. I go to big corporate America, the World Bank, IMF, IFC, like the UN. I work with all of these, like where I sell real estate. Everybody is in suits, PhDs, they know their thing, ego beyond the roof, very 3D, like money out of whatever. Anyways, I'm just drawing you the image. And here comes Tony looking like this, not dressed in a suit because I'm not going to be uniform. I don't dress as provocative as like some of the events, not yet, but maybe one day. But just my energy is like provocative. It like pushes people. But everybody's respectful. I've never had any dialogue where it was uncomfortable. Actually, they're so curious that I look so different simply by the markings and of course my energy that oftentimes they like walk they walk on pins and needles asking, afraid to offend me, and they ask, what religion is this? But it's beautiful because you can see the tenderness of like of like their heart, that in this moment they're being as human as possible. They want to know more, but they don't know how to begin to question. And they tie it to religion. Like, I'm sorry to offend you, but what is this? The most beautiful dialogue we have about consciousness and God. And
And
this
what do
is
you
not about.
say? What do you say?
So I tell them, listen, so okay, I have to make it a bit simple because somebody who doesn't understand aliens and mantis beings and Arcturians is going to be like, what the hell is that? So I always tell them, this is spirituality, and I talk to spirits. I have the ability to speak to all form of life, and I can bring messages from the beyond. Very simple words, just to kind of stretch their mind into, because people understand mediums these days. They understand like psychics. So I implant these little words that places them away from the 3D into slightly woo. I don't necessarily like go into mantis like yet until like we begin dialoguing, and then I say, well, I specifically speak to the insectoid race that lives outside of this realm. And listen, I'm talking to people that are, and I'm going to say highly educated. I'm not saying we're all highly educated, but highly educated in their field. These are experts in finance, in economics, in urban development, in health. Like they work with all kinds of countries. So look in their eyes, like beyond the mind, beyond like the dialogue, I feel the energies and you see this thing drop. Like, how if you're watching, this is the best way that like, I can describe it. If you're watching like a Disney movie, or like Disney, and like you see sparkles in like in the character of whoever's like this little like twinkle of like magic. That's what I see in their eyes when we begin dialoguing. 'Cause for a slight moment, they get to experience this other human me stepping outside of the boundary what society like said I should look, I can't talk about, or whatever, and it invites them within themselves. Like, where have I suppressed myself that I didn't allow myself to be? It's that little like link. It's that little activation within their field. I see it in their eye. Like, you can just tell they're a different person. Now you're talking to a different person that the person just like just approached me and asked like that question. And that to me is my fuel to continue like doing what I'm doing. It's not to convince you to believe me. It doesn't matter. I already believe what I'm doing. That's why I'm crazy enough to do it. But when we begin to step into our truth and speak from our heart, regardless where that lens looks, how it looks like, um, 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 how out of the box and weird it looks like, it gives them permission to begin to step back to that version of them that has desired those things, aspects of them, behaviors and dreams or whatever, but they've suppressed because everybody else is being homogenous. Everybody else is like wearing a suit. Everybody else, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It's just magical. And like to me, in that moment, is me doing like service for humanity. It's just I become the service from humanity because I know I'm interlinked with everyone else like energetically. So when I am being myself beyond the bounds of fear, those codes of being beyond the fear is already awakening in your field. Shall you choose to look in the mirror, to look at the seed, to take that action?
Have you ever sensed, heard, or discovered that someone chooses not to work with you because of the spirituality aspect, or they actually choose to work with you because you know what I mean? Like, is it impulsive either way?
It's impulsive either way. Look, I'll bring it into social media like for a moment, right? Because on social media, uh, you get all kinds of comments that are beautiful, like supportive. I understand you. I may not understand you, but I can feel your energy. And you get this like other sided people that don't get you. They like call you a bit called cult leader. I need to go to psychiatric hospital. You need to be this. You need to die. Like go kill yourself. They call me faggot, gay, like all derogatory names. With my work, I haven't received anyone that said, I don't want to work with you. But on like social media, it was easier for them to say that. So I don't know
I
if
doubt
in like,
those are going to be highly educated people that are potentially going to work with you. Those are morons, you know, sitting behind their computer somewhere. So I'm just curious in more of that professional environment. I would I would think that it would both attract and repel. I would think that it would do both. I mean, that would just seems natural. I mean, that's with every personality. Every personality in some way attracts or repels because you align or don't align. But I think because you're more embodied in who you know you are, then it maybe might attract even more and might repel even more. And it is, you know, it is what it is.
it is what it is. And like, look, our job, you know, as messengers is not to convince anyone, attract or repel, but just to give an example of stepping outside of the bounds of what you were told. That's it. So like when you really comprehend it, it doesn't really become about those like questions. But I've been approached by those corporations, and I won't name the name yet because it's not official. Um, Through my work with all my clients, because they each and every one of my clients say, "Oh my God, Tony, you have to come to our bureaucracy and speak." So I am in discussions with those large corporations to create a program um, where I help them begin to step beyond the bounds because there is that war within self. There is that war within the workplace. Everything is suppression on steroids in different forms, right? But and all of it is based on fear. And until someone takes the step, you know, of courage and does something different to prove to the rest it's okay. And wow, it wasn't as crazy as I have like imagined. We're gonna be stuck in that cycle, you know, a forgetfulness of this is the way when it's not the way. And logic, I'm going to say this again, that's part of my method. Logic is already limited. The heart has no bounds. The heart requires trust, trust into the unknown of who you are. The mantis being said very clearly throughout many of their sessions, like with people, they say that we are not here working with humanity to allow you to use antiquated tools to understand the unknown. We are here to bring a new frequency of understanding to allow you to go into the unknown, into what you do not know. And if in order for you to go there, it requires for you to trust and surrender. And through that surrender, you will begin to understand what intellect, what energy, what intelligence is. And that in turn will teach you what you are always desiring to know. You cannot go from the mind that is already built within constructs, say, I want to understand the infinite. You let go of this construct, and now where are you? Into the space that's called unknown. And it's scary, and it takes trust, and it takes like knowing that it is like intelligence, and it's God, and it's there to support you and assist you. Then you begin to see what you've always desired to see beyond the mind, but with the heart frequency. It takes a lot of deconstruction, it takes a lot of work, and it triggers people, yes.
Mm-hmm. Question for you: when you're channeling praying mantis beings, for someone who is new to this whole world, you're saying you worked with the insectoid community consciousness. I mean, this is an ignorant question, but I like to ask these. Where are these praying mantis beings? Do they actually exist in like a physical form? Who are these people?
Yes, just in case people are confused, I'll just show this up here. Okay, so this is a praying mantis look. It's not only this look, but insectoid. We're not being like metaphorical, we're being clear. And just for the audience, I've always been afraid of insects. I have been terrified of anything multi-legged, let alone like a praying mantis, until I was 41, until I like met them during a past life regression, and everything changed. So for a person who's been terrified of insects, literally would run screaming. Like for me to say I'm a representative of them, I'm a voice like for them, you know. My specific beings are not physical beings. There are humans on the planet that connect with like physical insectoid beings. Like my beings are really like beings of light, but they come through the archetype of the insectoid energy. Because look, when I like met them through my past life regression, and I'm working with an AI guy, like this guy in like the UK, amazing artist that works with highly advanced AI to recreate what I saw in my mind. What was even my mind in my consciousness? What actually happened? So in the next few weeks, I'll bring to the best of our ability what I experienced like during my past life regression, so people can comprehend with some visuals. When I met them, they showed me like the insectoid face, clear like insectoid, clear like praying mantis being. The next image with this like long bodied silhouette, like being 20, 30, 40 feet high, very long. Like I felt this big, like compared to the being. It was the head, it was the shoulders and the arms down. Like there were no features, and it was just light coming out of it. And in that moment, like telepathically, like they said, we are coming to you in this humanoid silhouette form, because your mind will not be able to construct an image if we truly come as our intelligent energy. Like our mind has no, what's the word?
Frame of reference.
Thank you. No frame of reference to comprehend. It will be like static on like TV. And like the next image, they like showed me like this heart that was faceted. It was like sliced up, and it was like infinite, and there was like a grain of light, and that grain of light reflected off the one facet into the infinite facets. And I knew then they were of love, and they were like, of light. That's how they like first came through. And I knew like immediately they're not insectoid the way that we comprehend them. But our physical mind, the construct, needs a frame of reference to be able to connect. But once you begin to connect with them, you're not connecting with the physical like version, you're connecting with their intelligence, like as energy. And it's, when I say it's infinite, it's infinite. There are no words at times to describe what I experience when I channel. Like they use the vocabulary I have in my mind or in my field to pick the closest frequencies of, but oftentimes it's really energetic. Um, they come through the Antares-Stargate, and that Stargate isn't physical in our galaxy. It is an intelligent, also consciousness and a being that opens up and closes, like in a way, the best way that like they described it, allowing their consciousness to enter or to meet halfway our consciousness. But they truly said it, and this is how it expands back to self. All their messages, all of them, every single time, isn't to disempower you. Their messages is to remind you how powerful you are, and everything is emanating and existing within your consciousness. They are very clear that when they channel through me like to you, to allow you to remember what's happening is already occurring within your power and consciousness. So
Mhm.
when you pose a question, and I've had so many interviews, and people ask, I'm going to say the word 3D questions. I struggle to answer them because within myself, I know that's not how the world is. I know that's not what consciousness is. So when people ask, where do they come from? There's one side of me where it says, okay, for them to comprehend, like say they come from the Antares-Stargate and da 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 da, it's here there. But my other self knows fully it's that Stargate that seems to be like separate than I am. Those beings that seem to be coming outside in is all occurring within my consciousness that I am attempting to remember, and each and every one of you are.
Hmm. Amazing. I know we had talked about you taking some time to channel a message for us. Would you be open to doing that today?
Yes, of course. And you're welcome to ask questions if that's the thing. If you want to have, if you have a question.
I won't ask where they come from.
Oh my God. Okay. 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 They like to dialogue with humans. So like just for your audience, like the way that I formed a relationship like with them hasn't been. I haven't been called yet to sit with them and just channel on my own for hours. It's always they've always like enjoyed dialogue with people, and they dissect the words of people. They've this whole year 2025 they've been getting into allowing humans to become conscious why you are posing such a question. They're very into it's amazing. Like you're gonna see. So don't be surprised if they ask you questions. They'll answer eventually, but they want you to be conscious of why you're even asking the question. Why it's so relevant? Like where they come from.
That's great.
However, so ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I have a method of how like they come through. They like tune a little bit and like they make some sound language. They'll bring a message through, and then will say, "You're welcome to pose a question." Like once you pose a question, like a dialogue, like when you're finished, like you can say, "You can bring Tony back," and they'll remind me to come back. Okay, so because if you don't say, "Bring Tony back," I'll continue channeling. Because like there was one time I channeled for 4.5 hours straight online. It was insane. Like I could have gone for another six
Was
hours,
that a
but
live, like a live video?
yeah, it was a two it was like a 2 3 hour thing that I posted on social media, and like people, I don't know how many people, a lot of people came, and I had one moderator like that was helping, and we began at 8 p.m. and I didn't finish till 12:30 a.m. Until she said, "Hey, oh my God, we've gone for 4 hours. Please bring them back." I could have, I don't know. And I've never, not that I've never channeled that, I'm probably having another lifetime, but like consciously in this life, this has been, it was insane. And it felt like a snap of a finger.
Amazing.
Okay. All right. For your audience, if you're driving, do not close your eyes. If you are not driving and you're home and you're in a safe place, if you are like welcome to close your eyes and just like feel their energies, and you're welcome to keep them closed the whole time and just go beyond the words. Okay. And The Antares-Stargate, we come through in this way to co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness. To merge our hearts with your heart. To be one with you in this way. To be one with the energies of the divine that you are. And as we connect with you in this way, we are here to remind you that you are, each and every one of you, are the consciousness that you are seeking and exploring to know and to realize. It is through your infinite, indestructible power, the perfect geometry that you are, the perfect state of being, that you get to create all versions of realities. You get to realize that you are the infinite continuum itself. You have been conditioned to see yourself as separate than all. You have been conditioned to see yourself as broken, as needing to be healed, as needing to remember even. But you see, it is through your infinite power of being the divine that you get to create the illusion of what you call forgetfulness. You get to create the illusion of being broken, the illusion of being separate. Because shall you truly be broken in any way, you wouldn't be able to create, let alone exist. Listen to what we are saying, beyond the mind and the logic, but within the energy of the unconditional love of creation for itself. The frequency of unconditional love is what binds everything together, is what keeps you whole. It is the glue that allows you to see yourself as whole. And through the consciousness of your own being, you play out the many roles that the infinite continuum has for you to be able to realize that you are infinite. You see, God loves you unconditionally, without conditions, that allows you to experience all forms of the infinite so you can remember that you are the infinite. The idea within your minds, through society's conditioning, that enlightenment looks this way. That shall you have your white picket fence, are meditating, are sending love, are sending light. When you are on this side of the spectrum, then you are ascending. But shall you be depressed, lost, hopeless, suicidal, hateful, then you are descending, you are broken. That is a fallacy. Because underneath this whole spectrum, the positive and the negative, is the particle of creation, is God itself. Underneath such labels that allows you to experience different forms of the infinite is creation itself, the fuel that allows you to even create an aspect of what you call negative. That's how much the intelligence of God itself loves you, that it allows you to experience even what you do not prefer through the forgetfulness of who you are, for you to realize that you are all of it to begin with. And with that, we will begin our dialogue with you in this way. You are welcome to pose a question when you are ready.
Thank you so much for your message. I'm curious, how do we navigate situations in our world currently where we may feel powerless to help those who are being oppressed in other cities, states, countries? How do we navigate that feeling of powerlessness?
Yes, that feeling of powerlessness, our dearest one, from our lens, is an invitation for each and every one of you to go within yourselves, to understand why you feel powerless to begin with. Remember, what you are witnessing on the outside that seems to elicit certain feelings within you, that feeling is already emanating and generating within you. What is occurring on the outside is allowing you to notice a certain feeling that you perhaps never knew existed within yourself. So the idea of powerlessness truly comes from the self. Dig deeper to see, why are you truly having such a definition within your field? Because when you begin to realize that you are made of God particles, that the trillions of cells within your physical body, each and every one of them are intelligent by design, intelligent through their own awareness, are gods within you, you will begin to realize that you are one physical God that has trillions of gods within itself. And when you begin to connect with such frequency within thyself, you will be able to read what is happening, what seems to be on the exterior, from a different lens and understanding. Because truly, what is occurring on the outside, the idea of victimhood, the idea of perpetration, the idea of war, the idea of separation, all of it is occurring, is happening through the free will choice of each of those players that are powerful to begin with. Listen to what we are saying. Those beings are playing out roles of disempowerment, are playing out roles of disempowerment through their infinite, indestructible power. And by you witnessing such a display of powerlessness allows each of your hearts to expand to the next level of what you call unconditional love. So once you begin to go within yourself and see yourself as the divine vehicle of love, allows you to comprehend what is happening exterior through the illusion of forgetfulness, what is occurring outside of you from a very different lens, that everything serves intelligence, everything serves the one. Because even the role of the perpetrator, when it is played consciously or unconsciously, is serving the infinite continuum. Even the idea, the being that is playing out the victimhood role, is also serving that ascended master to learn that facet of the infinite. And as you begin to stretch those comprehensions of what you believe you think you know, Your humanity understands, many of you, that you are an infinite being, that death does not exist. Yes? Then shall death not exist, and you are a continuing energy that lives on forever. What is this idea of war? What is this idea of killing? What does perpetrator really mean in victims? When each and every one of you lives forever, never dies, and simply plays out these roles for its own individual conscious ascension. Yes?
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. One last question. Why did you choose to work with Toni, and what do you love and appreciate about him?
The choice was not from us. The awakening occurred within the being. We have been, we will say, the idea of around him since he was a child. He crystallized on this planet with a specific blueprint activated already within his field, unconscious to it initially, conscious to it later on in his life. The being, the channel has lived many lives, simultaneous life that are of trauma, of death, of suppression, of bullying, of being buried alive, of being a slave. Many of the lifetimes that he lived was of disempowerment, total and utter forgetfulness that he is a powerful being. And in this lifetime, he came in with the code of awakening to empower himself again as the God frequency that he is and each and every one of you are.
Mhm. What do you love and appreciate about him?
The courage of stepping beyond the bounds of what he was taught should be or is. The desire to get to know himself deeper and deeper and deeper. As everything that is occurring, what seems to be on the outside, is emanating from his consciousness. He is not afraid to break the paradigm of his own reality for his own expansion and remembrance.
Thank you so much for your messages today. I appreciate it.
Are there any further questions that we can help assist with?
We are complete. Thank you.
With our unconditional love. Bright, 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 white light of creation and the infinite darkness of the infinite. We thank you for this beautiful co creation of oneness and for allowing us to witness your beauty in this way. As we have expanded our own knowledge of whom we are through you. And in turn, you have allowed Source itself, God, the intelligence to all, to comprehend and expand itself through your role. We will bring the channel back momentarily as we head back to the Antares-Stargate. Hi, David.
Amazing. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an energy. I have my eyes closed because they're it's intense. It's
of course. Yeah. Yeah. It's very intense. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hmm. I know that you have begun training other people on how to unlock their own inner channel through a course that you do with, I believe, alongside Nicolette. Um, How is that course structured, and how would that course help someone experience this as well?
Yeah, so we throughout my journey, all the events that I do online and in person, and of course on social media, we get the question a lot. How did you begin channeling, and all of it from the idea of I am not a channel, right? How can I be like you? Um, with all kinds of assumptions, right? Again, and the course was like born. Look, the moment you begin to remember that we are all gods, we are all channels. The desire from the heart to let everyone have that experience is undeniable. Like there's not even a logic or a mind when we began that class. It just began because look, you have to remember when we began channeling. I didn't think I could channel. I disempowered myself in so many ways. I thought I had to be some shaman or come from some lineage. Every other story you can imagine that I am not a channel I created until I fell into it and I realized, oh my God, we all are. So the classes, we don't teach you how to channel. We never teach you how to do anything. We simply help you remember that you have always channeled. We help you shift your own frequency to realize you've always been channeling, because we do. We just aren't aware of it. It's a 6-week course. We meet once a week for 2 hours, although it extends oftentimes 2.5, 3 hours. We have a class going on right now. It ends in a few weeks, and I cannot tell you how magical the rebirth of people, the witnessing of the remembering that you are a channel of you can channel the wisdom of yourself. And this is not for you to sound like me or like the next person. That's another prison. It's for you to rely on your own channel, how it's supposed to look like and sound and come to earth. That's the key. And we don't want you to come back to our class. We want you to run out of our class feeling so free, so empowered that you can access the divine wisdom anytime you want to, in business, in relationship, in channeling, in aid, whatever. Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And oftentimes a lot of the which is so funny. A lot of people that come to us are people that do light language and other people that teach all kinds of spiritual things. I'm like, why are you even in the class? Like you already are doing it. Self trust.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's just the little push. And our class is really designed with exercise. Our class is not designed from day number one for you to hear me speak or channel. In the first class, we debunk the idea of what channeling is. Like you hear a little bit of me channel and like Nicolette Morgan. The rest of the 5 weeks is putting you in a hot or cool seat, however you want to see it, and allow yourself to channel in front of everyone in groups in rebirth. That's all I can say.
Mhm.
Magic.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You also, for quite some time, have been offering the praying mantis crystal skulls. And so I know you just got some new ones in, and I wanted you to share them and tell us, what are they? How do you work with them? What is the, beyond the fact that they just look cool, like
Thank you.
what can people do with them?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm the only one in the world that has praying mantis crystal skulls. How this was born, I have, you've heard of the human crystal skulls? I have 8 of them from Caroline Ford, and all kinds of crystals, all over, behind me in there. Crystals are consciousness. Crystals is another aspect of you. See, you have to remember, those aren't separate than you. They're another version of you that are within your consciousness, but we're projecting it out. So, when you begin to work with the crystalline consciousness, you access another dimension and another facet. Now, all my crystal skulls, I have my own ritual, my shamanic ritual, where I activate them. I infuse certain codes. When people buy the skulls from me, they ask for me to do some sort of shamanic activation to either help them, whatever, heal or connect or speak to this being or whatever it is. Also, I own an amber, which is upstairs actually, that has a 20 million year old praying mantis insect. that they all like sit with it, like when they come. And imagine this little insect being has been in this amber for 20 million. It doesn't matter, even 20,000 years, like let alone 20 million. Imagine the energy of that consciousness, what it was around, how it was born, what did it witness. All of that is infused in like these stones. And it's a beautiful, really like permission slip for you to expand your horizon on what everything around you is. Because beyond the crystal, you can communicate to the tree, to the rivers, to the air, to the insects, to the animals, to other beings. So, um, access to magic.
Yeah,
You
yeah, and they're
know.
available on your website and at all of the events you go to. So
Yes.
you'll have them at Conscious Life Expo, Sedona Ascension Retreat, New Living Expo, all these upcoming events. You'll have them there.
Exactly. I'll have them there physically, and hopefully they're all now sold out because I just got a package, or I just received like another, I think 65 of them. Um, so like some will be sold out before I get to the event, I'm sure. But I'll bring some always to the event so you can have them, like feel them and see them. They're phenomenal. The eyes are made out of either obsidian, like this is obsidian. Sorry, it's gonna zoom in a second. Okay, the eyes are obsidian, or it could be out of labradorite.
Beautiful.
And like the stones are high quality stones, very natural, no dyeing of any kind. I'm very specific. I don't want any artificial thing in the stone. Precisely how Earth made the stone, you extract and like you carve, and then you add the eyes to it. Um, so that yeah, they're just fabulous, and they're a beautiful piece of art too.
Yeah,
It's
of course. And
fabulous.
quite a conversation piece. Put that on your desk at work.
Totally. And I also made them, I used to make them three times the size, which is about 2.5 pounds. So now they're very travelable. So you can travel with them. You can do grid work with them. You can take them anywhere like that you want when you go meditate. Or so I'm gonna stick with the size because it's great to put in your hands and just like take it with you all over the world.
Put it in your bra. You know, it's the perfect size.
So make sure you have a wire brush and strong ones, because they still have some weight. LOL. Yeah.
You are going to be at numerous upcoming events, as I mentioned, but I specifically want to dial in on New Living Expo, which is in April of this year in San Rafael, California. Mandy and I will be there. It'll be great to see you in person. But what are you going to be sharing at New Living Expo?
So I'll have a booth there where you see like my mantis calls. I'll be also doing readings, 20 minutes readings at the booth. And oftentimes it's like crazy. There's a line, it's insane. It's like 3 days of pure channeling. But I also have either one or two workshops, I can't remember, where I will like bring in the like the mantis beings, and you get to ask your questions. So if you live nearby, if you have the ability to travel, if you have the time to travel, please do so. You get to meet the mantis beings in person. You get to feel their energy in person. I've introduced a new form of light language of how they speak that's insectoid, in nature, that just was born a few days ago. That will be also part of it. It's going to be activating in so many ways. It's just unbelievable. You can't deny the energy. If and don't be surprised after like the event, or even after like after like listening to this, that you may begin to having dreams of praying mantises, praying mantis insects may appear at your house. I get text all the time from people saying, "I've lived in this state for 30 years. Not in my life have I seen." And here's a picture of a praying mantis on my car, on the screen of my window, in the sky, in a cloud, like crazy, crazy stuff like that. So. Um,
I texted you the other day. I saw a praying mantis game at Target.
Like it's not a joke, and a lot of people are awakening to their connections, like with the praying mantis. I get messages all the time of saying, "It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's just so it fills my heart with so much beauty when you begin to trust yourself." And we're everything, guys. We're not just praying mantis. We're all of it. But in this lifetime, up to this age, I'm 45 years old. They're my main guides. So
Do you have your outfits picked out for New Living Expo yet? Or is it more right before you get on, like packing your bags, then you're choosing them?
nobody's asked that question. So thank you. I'm actually working with a designer right now who has done some high profile people, Madonna, Nicki Minaj, and to work on a specific insectoid eye piece
Ooh.
that I wear, made out of Swarovski crystals and everything. I want to bring I want people to begin to feel comfortable, because even on Earth, to look at an insect that doesn't look like, let's say, like familiar, or isn't in the context, oh, this is a friendly like insect, even as an insect, is a bit jarring for the human mind, let alone saying, I talk to insectoid beings. I want to normalize the look of insect, and I'm creating this headpiece that's just phenomenal. It should
Wow.
be done in 3 weeks, I know. Um, that really brings life the look of the insectoid being. I'm trying to find a designer where I can begin designing clothes with them. It's always a journey. I like to break barriers. What man means, what women mean, what feminine and masculine, all of it is labels. Who freaking cares? Heels, no heels, I don't know. So I don't have my outfit yet picked for that, but we'll see what unfolds. It's gonna be beautiful. It's all
That's great.
art. It's all creation. Thank you.
I am very curious about you are doing a collaboration, I believe, with Kalask at New Living Expo. And how did that come about? What is your relationship like with him? For those who are not familiar, I guess you would say he channels a reptilian being.
Yes. So he challenged the Alpha Draconis like race, and specifically, I believe, from like the Kalask. I think Kalask is like their race. I'm not sure exactly like where they come from, but we met at LA Conscious Expo last year on the bus from the airport to the hotel. I didn't know who he is. He didn't know who I was. We said hi, and like we connected. Then we ended up being on the same like channel panel, or it wasn't. It was a channel panel, like at like the Conscious Expo, and he sat right next to me. And his energy is beautiful and amazing, and the messages that he brings, also from the Alpha Draconis, from like the reptilians, is beautiful from his lens. And we connected intimately as we're both channeling, because we could both feel I want to say, like, forms of judgment from a human that says, oh, like these are insectoid beings, or these are like reptilian beings. There's so many stories out there by the government conspiracy theories, or even spiritualists with channel, that like reptilians are bad or evil, or this whole like narrative that they're not of good, and that is not true. I I have channeled reptilian beings. I've channeled greys, all kinds of greys, and all kinds of like other beings, and I know for sure, no doubt, how unconditional loving like they are. So we came together as this like duo of breaking like paradigms, of bringing the insectoid beings and the reptilian beings to channel together, and we are going to encourage like the audience to ask one question. I mean, like each person will ask a question, and like they receive two different responses like from the beings, which will be
That's interesting. Very fascinating. Okay. Newlivingexpo.com. That's in April of this year, San Rafael, California. Definitely encourage you to be there. Some amazing communicators, vendors, exhibitors. Awaken Lifestyle or Awaken Magazine will be there. We'll be actually handing out a magazine to each person as they come in the door. So you'll get a special print edition. What is the best place for people to connect with you in terms of your website, learning where you're going to be, how they can participate in the channel course, and follow you on social media?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So my website is the best place. My first name, last name .com. Toni. So I spell my name with an I, not a Y. ToniGhazi.com. At the top, you see all my events and all of my like social media. All of my handles on like social media is at the Antarean-Heart. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I think that's it. So all the information is there. I'm in the process of being rebranded, so eventually the look of the current website will change. But like you can book one-on-one channeling sessions there. You can see the channeling class there, which we don't hold all the time because we travel a lot. So our next one may happen in the summer, because for the next few months we have, I think, 7 or 8 trips, happening. So a lot going on. My mantis crystal skulls, I don't have everything online yet, but there is a good amount. I would say like social media Instagram would be a good place to go. I'm going to place individual like videos for each of like the like mantis skull, so you can understand the stone and its power and like the benefits. I do corporate retreats. I come to corporations. I speak on stage, TEDx, TED Talk, all these things. We get invited oftentimes to come to your town and do like a group channeling for your family or like a group of friends. So all kinds. We're like super fluid on how we do our thing, and yeah, reach out.
Love it. Love it. Toni, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your message of love. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, David. Really appreciate the platform, and thank you for doing what you do.